Welcome.
Hello.
How are you?
Thank you. I am
Nice to meet you. I'm
very
Harry.
well.
Nice to meet you.
How's it going?
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Feeling fresh today?
I feel
I feel
quite
alright,
good.
actually.
Yeah.
Oh,
Feel
good.
alright. I'm bolting home after this, so it's my last one.
Like home?
home.
Back to England?
Back to England.
Yeah, we're heading back today as well, but not till later. So.
Okay.
Introduce
Harry's here
yourself.
till tomorrow. Yeah, you're the secret speaker.
Yes, don't tell
So
everyone.
no one knows.
Yeah, we really rattled cages when we announced Josh without really realising on Monday.
Uh-oh, you
And,
gave the secret away.
And but here we are.
It happens, eh? I mean, I've got a secret speaker written very big on my badge, and people just think my name's Secret.
That's not ideal. That's not ideal.
How cool would that name be?
Yeah, that would.
I like Nish and Phil and Sketch have all got the same badge, but they've got secret speaker entourage on their badges, and that is just the
That's
coolest.
my dream.
That's the
Cool.
Have
coolest thing.
entourage on the badge.
Yeah.
I know, it's my dream that I've got an entourage. How
Yeah,
about
that's-
that?
yes,
That's
that's
mad,
what you
isn't it?
You do. They're over
He's
there.
there. He's over there.
I needed him this morning for a tech check. It was great. It was very great to have him there.
Yeah. Well, he's wearing dark sunglasses, so I can only
Exactly,
imagine what
looks
time
the
he got
part.
in last night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Introduce yourself. Who are you, and what are you doing here at Cannes?
I don't know, to be honest. No, my name's Jaz, and I am the founder of a community called the Worldwide Tribe.
Great.
I've never been to Cannes before. It's
Okay.
very different from my normal day-to-day because the Worldwide Tribe, we support refugees in refugee camps across Europe and the Middle East. So we do lots of things. We make films, we tell stories, raise awareness, try and overturn some of the negative stereotypes and preconceptions that people might have about immigration, economic migrants, refugees, asylum seekers, etc. But we also run projects on the ground in camps all over the world. One of our biggest projects is our Wi-Fi project. So we install Wi-Fi networks into refugee camps to give people access to education and communication with their loved ones and information about asylum claims and stuff like that. So
That's great.
I suppose
Yeah.
Wi-Fi is the thing in the Western world that we take the most for granted now.
it is so true. And actually, I mean, people don't think of it as a basic human right. They don't think that it's the first thing that you might need in a refugee camp. But actually, lots of the big NGOs and people are, meeting the needs of food, warm clothing, tents, sleeping bags and stuff. But what it is that people were asking us for over and over again was, can I borrow your phone to make a phone call to let my family know that I'm okay? Or can you hotspot me? Do you have a charger? Or things like that. Because at the end of the day, what I really realised in these camps was that it was like you or me being there, and that is what you would need. That is what you relying on for everything, for maps, for everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Syria particularly was a very advanced. This is
Absolutely.
not. I went there 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah, it was a holiday
and it's-
destination, like Damascus is
It's
beautiful.
like Beirut. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
I agree. I think that's a common misconception that people assume that refugees are poor.
Yeah.
But that's not the case at all. Like I'm
or
meeting
uneducated,
people.
they're not. These
Yeah.
these are people like us. You're absolutely right.
Exactly. You've got doctors and lawyers and like all sorts in these
Yeah.
camps. But yeah, that was a real eye opener to me. You're so right that people were leaving good jobs and nice houses and
Yeah.
so that is what I'm doing here really, is to try and represent some of those people and talk about some of the people that I've met, tell their stories, because often, I mean, in this case, they can't necessarily be here themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So where are the camps primarily that you're dealing with?
So a lot of the camps that I deal with, or where I started, was in France.
Okay.
So in Calais,
okay.
in Dunkirk. That is where everything started. The
Okay.
Worldwide Tribe about 4 years ago.
So that was when the Calais jungle, was it called? That was the press
the jungle.
referring to it.
Yeah,
as,
and the people there called it that too,
Did they?
actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the fact that it was just like without any kind of rule, or like it was just crazy. So the people, I think, named it the jungle because it did feel like a place for animals rather than for people to live. It was pretty horrible in its conditions. But yeah, so things started there 4 years ago. And my background is in fashion, in design. I was working in branding and communication for a while as well. So it was a real lifestyle change for me when I started doing this work. It was a real pivotal moment when I first went to Calais, and everything changed for me. It put everything in perspective.
Was that first moment Calais?
That
You arrived
first-
there and it changed.
Yeah, it's a good story actually.
Please tell it.
Please tell the story.
Thank you so
Sam.
much. Oh, that is exactly what I need in orange juice.
Yeah, it's fantastic here.
So what happened was 4 years ago, my mum and dad were going through the process of fostering. It's like a long process, and They were waiting to be approved as foster parents, and eventually they were approved after like a couple of years of
it's a really
tests.
laborious process.
It is. It really is. Which is mad because like anyone can have a kid, but. So they went through that process, and they were very keen or very happy to take on an older child, a child that didn't necessarily speak English, because there was a lot of unaccompanied children, a lot of minors coming into Kent at that time from Calais, and my family's from Kent, so they were happy to take on one of these older kids, a lot of boys as well, and that's what a lot of other foster families, they don't want. So it looks likely that it would be an older boy refugee from Calais. But as you remember probably at the time, the news was quite negative about Calais. They were saying, swarms of migrants crossing the border. It was it was dehumanising the way that they were talking about people. So I went there to try and find out a little bit more about where my new sibling might be coming from. And I wrote about that first trip just on my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, because I was quite impacted by what I saw there. The reality was very different from the media. So I wrote about it, and that post, that was the pivotal moment that changed my life, because that post went very viral. It was shared about 65,000 times or something very, very quickly in a matter of hours. And then I was basically contacted by thousands and thousands of people wanting to do something, wanting to help, wanting to get involved, wanting to donate.
So that post fundamentally was a sort of, listen, this is much worse than we think, we need to do something about it? Or
it was not that it was much worse than we think. It was, I think, a different perspective. It was more a case of, this is different to we're being told. It's bad in terms of conditions, but what is so different is that the people here are welcoming and kind and hospitable, and have no choice in this matter. Like, they're heroic in their stories, and we should be treating them that way, basically.
And these are humans.
Exactly. So I think it was that human perspective that people were ready for. So timing wise, and then what happened after that was there was just this massive grassroots response to support the Calais jungle. When I first went there, there was no there was no volunteer organisations or refugee NGOs or anything working there. So we kind of were at the forefront of this mad movement of people helping, and we started kind of distributing stuff to people, and that was the beginning. And 4 years later, our projects have changed and developed, and we are making films and doing a lot more storytelling while still running projects on the ground. But the landscape has changed, things have changed, things in Calais have changed. So our work has naturally evolved with it too.
Yeah, and so the video side of it, I think, is really interesting, because you've seen the value, I assume, in almost investing in the content in order to get people emotionally bought into it, rather than just going, let's donate. You're going to have to go and show them something and get them to feel something. Is that a strategy?
Yeah, so with the films, that's what we really wanted to show, is to highlight the things that unite us, things like music and sport and art and food, and the things that we can all have in common. So that's really what we focused on in those films, rather than the things that might divide us, the surface level things like nationality or the language that you speak or the colour of your skin, or all of those things. That was kind of set aside, and we really looked at, what is it here that we have in common? And actually that was a lot. Yeah,
as it always is with people.
I brought Charlie in. I know he's got a hard stop at 11. Charlie's, we talked about him coming on the podcast about an hour and a half ago. Charlie, you introduce yourself into what you're doing. I know you've got 10 minutes to
no worries.
to chat.
Yes, I'm one of the co-founders of Charged Up. So we're building Europe's largest phone charging network, which doesn't sound that cool, but actually on the kind of underside of it,
don't put yourself down.
It's allowing us essentially to do advertising at the point of purchase in bars, restaurants, pubs, where we have our charging locations situated. and hence why we're in Cannes now, talking to a lot of brands about what we can do.
There's never been a better, more useful product than a phone charging docking station in Cannes than yours.
Yeah, we've been fortunate enough to kind of growth hack our way into this place, and we've got them all over the Palais and in a couple of the beach bars, and I think we've done over 1,000 rentals in 4 days. So
great.
It's been worthwhile for sure.
Explain to us, people watching, how it actually works. Like,
Sure.
how do you pick up a new charger? You know, what we really were interested in over lunch was the advertising ability of it as well.
Yeah. So it's all done via our app, obviously called Charged Up. In the app, it's very similar to if you've used one of the scooters or one of the bike sharing apps. Essentially, we have a map with all of our locations. So you'll find one of our stations with these batteries in. They have the cables you need to charge your phone. So these are locked in place on a self-service kiosk on a bar, on a reception desk. You scan the QR code on the station, a battery gets released. You can then use it to charge your phone, but you can actually then return it to any other station in the network. So it's essentially the bike sharing model, but for phone charging. But then on the advertising side, because obviously we've got an app and we've got a lot of data on, and we know what location people are in when they're renting. Brands that want to target people in a pub environment, for example, are really interested to work with us to kind of do sampling, give offers, talk to customers in a place where they haven't actually had that much access beyond just beer mats and beer glasses, for the big drinks brands. So, we started it off as just a phone charging concept, and then the advertising's really come to the forefront and something we're really concentrating on now.
Great. Well, speaking of that, while we got you here,
Yeah.
let's.
Yeah, I was going to say, it makes the most sense. When you said phone chargers and things like that, I thought, wow, this is perfect.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, we need them in the camps for sure.
Definitely. I think
Can literally put banks in and then just charge them up.
And it's something we're really looking at the moment and we've been approached by a couple of charities actually to do stuff similar to that, but also obviously that in that model is a bit different, but we can donate money to charities. We can add another 10p onto the cost and give that to charities in certain locations, and people are very willing. This is a massive need, but also when there's a charity attached, it's a really nice way to donate through a utility product as well.
It's both of your first Cannes
My first
and your
time.
first Cannes.
My first Cannes, yeah.
What were your expectations coming into it? You've been here. We met you on the Monday morning, so you've been here all week.
Yeah.
Expectation versus reality.
No, it's pretty amazing. I was expecting a lot more innovation. It seems like everyone's doing a lot of the same stuff. A lot of partying, obviously. Networking is good. I was surprised that not as many people actually go to the Palais and actually listen to the talks as I was expecting, potentially. A lot of people just hang around the fringe events and, that's fine. But yeah, no, it's pretty much on point as to what I thought it would be. But I just thought some of the brands would do something a bit cooler than what they've done, maybe.
Yeah, have you had a chance to
When did you get
see on the
here?
beaches?
Yeah, I got here on Tuesday night, so I had yesterday to have a look around. And I did not know what to expect. It's obviously very different from my day to day. But it's really great to be here because it's World Refugee Day today.
I know, yeah.
So I think that it coincides nicely, and it's great that I'm speaking today so that I can bring that in a little bit.
What can people do? We've got people watching here. There's a lot of people running their own businesses. There's a lot of people that have the ability to help here. What should they do?
Well, I think that it's about doing what you do best, and here that we've got the world's most creative communicators and people that are amazing at storytelling and using your skills for something positive and something good. That looks different for everybody, whatever it is that you've got to give, put that to something that you believe in and that you feel really strongly about. But I've got a call to action today, which is a good one, because today we actually, because it's World Refugee Day, launched our own podcast, which is called the Worldwide Tribe Podcast, and the first episode has been released today. So go and listen to that. It's the story of the most incredible Syrian guy that I met, who is a photographer. He's 20 years old. I met him when he was 17, and he in a camp in Greece. He was donated a camera by a volunteer and took the most incredible photographs of his journey. And now he's been relocated to Belgium, but his story is very inspirational and it's uplifting, and it's episode 1 is a good one. So go and listen to the Worldwide Tribe podcast.
Amazing. Well, that will definitely be in the comments below. Guys, you make sure that goes in the comments. We'll be sharing that later today as well.
If Sam Fowler could be throwing things at me, he would be. He's urging me to put you to read out the question on the top of the sheet.
Okay.
In the meantime, what do you got planned for the next couple of days, or when you're going back?
Yeah, going back on Saturday.
Okay.
So yeah, next couple of days a bit more chilled really. We've actually got a couple of franchisee partners coming to Cannes to see us, which is nice.
Okay, nice.
From France and Germany, I believe. So going to meet them. But to be honest, just try and enjoy the last couple of days, I think.
Nice one, beautiful weather.
Yeah,
complain.
no, you can't complain at all.
I'll be honest, this is how you need to do Can. I've not seen a man hustling more than
Yeah, he's done a great
Charles.
job.
He's been running around constantly. And that is the way to do it. So congrats, I'm sure it will pay off for you.
Yeah, no.
Hello, boys.
On the tools have arrived. Question for both guests: how important is it for businesses to pair with charities? So let me caveat that. I think when businesses pair with charities in an authentic way, it's brilliant, and when they don't, it can be a bit of a downside.
Be a bit strange, can't it, when you're trying to
You must
how
have
does
had that experience where you have felt businesses really authentically. Are you getting backed by people and?
Yeah, I just think that when we've ever worked with any brands, it really needs to be a fit that makes sense. That you really can dig deep into that brand and know that they have an authentic, genuine reason. But I do believe that it's the future for us all to collaborate, not necessarily business with charity, but to include charity into business and to have a social element to every business. I think that's the only way forward, really.
Yeah. Charlie?
Yeah, no, I think, like you said, there are quite a few businesses that just use it as a marketing ploy, but don't actually fully believe in it or fully support properly. I think it's businesses that are the ones that can really make a huge difference because they have huge numbers of users, potential money they can put towards stuff as well. So actually, if you can really nail a partnership of a charity and a business that's really positive for the charity, I think that's how you can make a real impact. But of course, it needs to be genuine. Otherwise, I think people can see straight through when a business is using a charity for their own kind of greed and not really giving anything of benefit to them at all. And that will be damaging for both the charity and the brand. So but it's tricky. It's really hard for a lot of businesses to actually concentrate on charity early enough to then make it a real, genuine part of their business plan. But yeah, there's a lot brands can do. I think when learning from what you've done as well, to really work more closely with charities for sure, because it is powerful.
I'm very conscious you've got to.
No, it's
shoot
alright.
off.
I've got another 5-10 minutes.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
So what are you going to try and achieve in the next couple of days in Cannes? You're obviously talking, and then you'll meet people from that. Any other things that you've got really nailed in?
Well, I just really feel grateful for the opportunity to bring some voices and stories of the people that I'm meeting here. And next year I want to come and I want to bring them. I think it's really important that people can tell their own stories, and I definitely feel that there is a bit of a lack of that here, that I would love to hear some more voices of people that have experienced. The refugees that I work with, a lot of them are in France, so it is possible, and I think that can be really
It's a great idea.
impactful and important and powerful. So maybe I can hook that up in the next couple of days while I'm here.
Nice. I'm being told by Sam I need to swap guests in and out. We're about an hour and a half in. We're doing a guest swap. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
What
Good
time
luck
you,
on stage.
what
today.
time are you on
What time
stage?
is it?
2:05 in the Audi A stage in the Palais.
Nice. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
And
It's
have a
great.
great
Sure, it'll be
time.
brilliant.
And try and make the most of the fantastic weather. And
Yes, I will.
but yeah, thank you
Lovely
very
to
much.
meet you.
Lovely to meet you.
Have a good day.
Lovely to meet you.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot.
man.
Yeah, no worries.
Appreciate it.